Alright, this is John Cola with OKRaw.com, and as you can see here, I'm sitting in my amazing garden, so I've transformed my front yard into an basically raised bed edible garden. And I have many different videos on YouTube that you could watch to see how I did that. You can also see many updates that I've put up over the year to from building a greenhouse to making these plastic hoops out of PVC so you could use it as a cover to cover your crops. So many different things. I've all outlined them on YouTube. You could check out my other YouTube channel, Growing Your Greens, or the other website, growingyourgreens.com. But today, we're here to talk about raw foods. And one of the questions I get is, what is raw foods? I mean, some people, to me, it's like the back of my hand. I mean, I've been doing this for so long. I've been doing raw food since 1995. So there's a lot of people into the raw food movement, and you may see a lot of their videos online where, you could start up raw foods yesterday and you could just start making videos and talk about raw foods like you know it all. So I want to caution people out there to really, take a look at who's making these videos that you're listening to and that you're doing. And, always use your kind of brain to dispel things that people are putting out there and to think about them, because people aren't really trained in our society to think. And hopefully I'll get you to think about a couple things. Most people are taught to follow. And so we're taught to follow when we learn by modeling. So we learn by seeing what other people's doing. And when we see a lot of people in the raw foods movement maybe doing something because one guy says, hey, do this, and all these other people do it, but maybe that's not the best thing to do. So I got into raw foods for my health. I almost lost my life. I had spinal meningitis, which was basically caused by complement immune deficiency. And so I had to change my diet, otherwise I might not be here talking to you today. I define raw foods as a couple things. To me, raw foods are things that aren't heat processed. So that's one criteria of a raw food. So maybe not heated above 118 degrees. 118 degrees is where they say enzymes start to degrade or lose their life. So you want to eat things that are alive, not things that are not alive, because we're alive, and when you eat something that's not alive, then maybe you become less alive. So we want to eat live foods for live bodies or raw foods. Another thing for me, raw foods is basically water rich. So our bodies are 70 to 75% water. And if we eat things or consume things that are not that high in water, it's going to take our water from us and it is going to dehydrate us. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of cooked foods are not so good for us, because they dehydrate us. Think about the old lady and the old man when they get old, they get dried up and shriveled out. So we don't want that to happen to us. We want to stay water rich. So number one, not heated above 115 degrees or 118, whatever you think that temperature is. Number two, is it water rich? Number three, is it vibrant or have life force? And this is something that's not really talked about in live foods or raw foods these days. Like this lettuce here. This lettuce has life force. Sprouts have life force. I mean, do raw crackers in a package, do they have life force? Well, maybe not. I could definitely tell you they don't have as much life force as this lettuce I'm looking at here. Then I'm gonna, if I pick some lettuce here and eat it, I mean, this is live food, this is raw food, and we want to be eating mostly as much as we could possibly get fresh fruits and fresh vegetables in our diet. So good. So foods with life force, foods that are alive is what we want to be eating. Another thing, what is another criteria for raw foods? Well, hopefully it's organic, hopefully it's, definitely not genetically modified. And so, to sum it up, mainly, I want to say that raw foods is about, the raw foods diet is about eating fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. You may go into the health food store and they may have a raw food section with all these dehydrated things, but number one, they're dehydrated. They're going to take your water from you. Number two, they're processed. And we want to be eating natural foods. That's another thing about raw foods. We want foods that are unprocessed, unadulterated from their natural state. So if you can't recognize, there's no flax cracker trees, maybe we wouldn't want to be buying the flax crackers in the store. I mean, maybe if you made them yourself, that'd be better. Do I eat flax crackers? Of course. But, we can't just subsist on eating all flax crackers and barely eating any vegetables. It's like the vegan or vegetarian that doesn't eat his vegetables. I mean, you could be a junk food vegan and eat Twinkies and Ding Dongs and Ho-Hos, and they're vegan, but you're not going to be healthy. You could be a vegan that doesn't eat his vegetables. So you could be a raw foodist that doesn't eat their vegetables and fruits. So we want to mostly be focusing on vegetables and fruits in our diet, and that's the key to living and raw foods, is a diet high in fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. So for me, what is raw foods? Raw foods is simply this, and it's really simple and really easy. Raw foods is basically, you want to eat as much as possible fresh fruits and fresh vegetables, as high as quality as possible.